Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to briefly discuss the conception of 7. Some details I'm not going to get really explicit with, because at the end of the day, the person that I made 7 with, that's still his father, and there's just some things that I will not speak on to protect my child. But because some things they don't need to know, and I would hate for anything to get out and my child learns of it later. But there are some things that I know about this particular person, and then you know how genetics work. Typically things are passed down, so I do keep an eye out for these types of behaviors within him. But anyway, I just wanted to really kind of like hone in on just that experience, just to also add to what I was discussing earlier about tithing, as well as just protecting your energy. So it's just things that have happened. I was not sure about having 7. Me and the person that I had 7 with, I already knew it was over between me and this person, but by the time I was making that choice to walk away, I found out that I was pregnant. And it was one of those things where I really had to have a sit down with myself, and I was like, you're gonna do this alone, because the patterns were there, and that's why I was walking away. And it was like, you're gonna do this on your own, don't expect anything from him. But by you standing the course, things are going to align for you in a way that only it could align by you keeping him. Never did it cross my mind to abort him. I had that conversation with God when I first had Trey. I was 15 when I had Trey on, and when I got pregnant with him, and I was going to go, not complete. I was going to end it. And the day that I was supposed to go, so how it was then, like, you had to call in on this number, and it was like, you had to enter in the number of when your last cycle was. And so the system guesstimates the gestation of the pregnancy. And so, I had already, in my spirit, it was like, okay, if it has a heartbeat, I'm not going to do it. By the time, and it was crazy how this lined up. Like, my sister had her own place, and we could not find any pregnancy tests. Like, this was when of course my mom didn't know. So I was like, I missed my cycle. And like, we went everywhere. We went to like 4 different stores like the weeks prior, and my sister was gonna pay for it. She was working, and nobody had pregnancy tests. Like, there was no pregnancy test for like 2 weeks. Like, every time that we were able to get together, because remind you, my sister had her own place and I was still in school. So by the time me and her got together, timing wise, we would go to the store, and we went to Target, we went to different dollar stores, and there were no pregnancy tests. Put a pin there. So fast forward, we finally get a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant. And we go to the first appointment, or what? Well, prior to the first, was it? I can't remember if it was the first appointment or not, but I went to my PCP, and we did the official pregnancy test. We did a urine test there, and I want to say we did a blood test, and it was like, yes, you're pregnant. So my mom was like, well, we're gonna terminate. And I was scared. And basically I was like, okay, well, my stepdad was like, it's her choice, don't make her do something that she doesn't want to do. It's her choice. So then my family was like, okay, it's your choice, but these are your options. So I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and do it. So they was like, but you have the final say. So I got to the point where I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. And the clinic made you call this number the night before. Hold on. So anyway, it makes you call this number the night before to put in the date of your last cycle, and to guesstimate how far along you are in the pregnancy. So we do that, and prior, like I said, prior to calling the number, I had already been in communication with the Lord, and I was like, okay, something in my mind was like, if it has a heartbeat, don't do it. So fast forward, literally, like, I think I was 9 weeks. So basically, when I got the pregnancy test, had I gotten a pregnancy test a couple weeks sooner, he wouldn't be here, because I made that choice. Like, if there was a heartbeat, then I wouldn't. But if there was not a heartbeat, I was going to go ahead with it. I was literally a week after. By the time I called the number, it was 1 week after the heartbeat. Or it could have even been a few days. But it was essentially like that period where the heart is developed. It was within that week that his heart was developed. So that spoke to me about terminating pregnancies. So anyway, fast forward, seven is conceived. And so now, prior to Seven's conception, I had been abstinent for a year and 10 months. I was waiting for marriage, but that did not happen. I'm not going to get into details about that, but it did not. And so what I will say is coercion is not consent. I'm just going to leave that there. So I should have got some ketchup. But anyway, 7 is conceived, and thank you, Lord, for the food. I ask that you bless us with the strength that manages. 7's conceived. I already knew it was gonna be a disaster. This person completely changed right afterwards. I mean, he was already like not doing what he was already showing his ass. So, but anyway, had I not had 7, the path that I would have taken, I don't think that I would be in this position that I'm in now. Because of the actions of the individual that I conceived 7 with, it made me, I had to make certain choices. And it was funny because when I got pregnant with him, like in the beginning, something in my spirit was like, this baby is going to be the reason why you make certain connections. And I didn't know what that meant at the time. But now, I know what it means. And so, I just wanted to come on here and just kind of just paint the picture for everybody or to others and explain that some choices, you may think you're being set back, and you are, because sometimes you're going too fast. And you do need to slow down. And you do need to develop in other areas. So don't take like setbacks as something that is detrimental to your journey, because it's not. It's actually adding more value to your journey. And as a matter of fact, when I first had 7, like, I had everything. I had all the father was not trying to be there. Like, he created this whole fake fucking story. Like, I was just this, I ain't finna get into it, but he basically created me to be like this loosey goosey lady. Yeah. And I was like, what? Anyway, so yeah. I can laugh at this shit now because it's really fucking funny. But I didn't get no help. I didn't even ask him for help. I didn't. I ain't say shit to his ass. And I let him do what he do. I let him go live his life. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because everything that I didn't have to spend not one dime on 7. And everything that I need for him now is still being fulfilled. So, I said all that to say, trust in God. And, you don't have to make all the right choices. Because, I mean, I'm not finna just, like, blame somebody else for my life. There's two. It takes 2 to make choices, right? So some of the choices that I did make put me in this situation. I told the Lord I wasn't going to have no man in my home. Well, bringing that man into my home did these things. So also honor what you promised to God, because when you don't, he gonna show you why you should have. And I'm gonna leave it there.